Good morning. Welcome, TikTok. Why am I so dark on TikTok? I look like I was on the beach for months. Good morning. We continue our conversation on what you should know about men before you will start dating or learn now so your dating life will become much better, much smoother. Your relationship will be better, and I'm happy that I know what I know right now, so I don't have false expectations that only hurting me, not hurting anybody else but me. So we will continue with that. Before I will start, I will answer a couple questions, so to warm up a little bit. So remember how I said that men, masculine men especially, they're selfish, and this is normal. That's how it's supposed to be. If they wouldn't be selfish, then they wouldn't be able to achieve anything. So they would be losers, right? And we don't want to have to be with men who are not as successful as we want them to be. So men are self-centered, and that's what it is. We love them for being them. Now, I mentioned that men are not, because they're self-centered, they're not empathetic, and they don't understand why they need to chew on something if it's not solving something. So they are more about solution than about just talking about something again and again. So I said that do not complain to your man, tell him how he can fix it and move on with life. And so somebody asked me a question. Well, if a man is like this, why would I want him, and why couldn't I complain? The thing is, it's not because a man doesn't want to listen to you, doesn't want to help you, kind of. The thing is that a man needs to know that you're happy next to him. So if you're constantly complaining, if something is always wrong, for a man, it's like he could not make you happy. You see, even if he's not the reason of your unhappiness, even if it's something else, maybe your boss is constantly just on your back or something. For a man, it's important to know that in his life, in his space, you are happy. You see, so if you're coming home and you're complaining, you're never happy, then he feels like a failure, and no man wants to feel like this. That's what it is. You see, now if you will give him the solution, like for example, my boss is on my back, so I think I will quit, and I will maybe you look for another job, or maybe even stay at home. This is the solution. You see, that would be much better than to be constantly like talking and talking about that. Now, another, I hope it makes sense. It's not because men are mean. It's because they do not want to occupy that time with something that they don't really need to occupy. If you are important for him, he doesn't want to think um, that he does not make you happy, that he doesn't provide you a life that will make you happy. Now, another question was, what about, I told you that not to date men who don't make as much money as you do. Now, somebody asked me, what if the man is changing businesses? So it's okay. I mean, obviously, masculine men, they love to try new things. They love to try new ventures, new businesses. So it's okay. As long as he has money to live on, you see, as long as you are not becoming his parent or his supporter while he's building that business, because after that you will be out of his life. Men do not appreciate all this kind of, or I'm staying with him so he will appreciate and love me forever and ever. It doesn't work like this. As long as he's not bothering you with him starting new business, like for example starting new business, he's like, okay, so we need to cut down on our expenses, or I could not buy you presents no more, it's time to go. You can tell him, let's take a break. You can get on your feet. I don't want to be interfering, and then we can reconnect. And if you think that he will never remember you, he will remember you. He will, and he will get back to your life. He will want to show you how successful he is. Now, will he be with you? That depends. But who cares? At least he will be respecting you, and you will respect yourself. So this is how it is. Now, let's continue with our list. I have a few more. So I want to start with something. Very often, because women are so empathetic and so much, they try to kind of to help others, to comfort others, and I know this because I'm myself very empathetic. You need to make sure that you don't become a mother to a man. So you are not his therapist. You are not a rehab center where he can come and just sit and get better and then move on in life. You remember we finished last time on being convenient, and I told you don't become a convenient woman. So this is even more than just being convenient. Don't become a mother. Don't try to make him somewhat successful for him to then leave you, because who wants to live with the mother? Nobody, he has his parents. If he didn't have his parents, that's his business. Let him get a therapist and get over his kind of parental problems, maybe traumas. But this is not your job to build a band, to make something out of him. It's his business, really. Do not become a mother to anybody, and don't feel sorry for him. Don't feel like you need to help. Don't feel like he has huge potential and you could do that. Remember, you're meeting at a particular level. So if you met right now when he's all broken and you think I will fix him and then he will love me and appreciate me, you're wrong, because once you will fix him, he will go up and you will stay here. He is not matching with you no more. So what he will do, he will find somebody with whom he's matching. You see? So you're doing a huge disservice to yourself. I don't say that you need to stop his development. Let him develop. You develop yourself, he develops. So you guys are moving together like this, but you are not the one who is developing him. You should be the reason why he wants to develop. So for example, he's extremely kind of happy to have you in your life, and to keep you in your life, he tries harder. He maybe works more. He maybe starts a new business or something, or maybe he starts working on his trauma, not to lose you. You see. But if you will be the one who will be like, you know what, you need to quit smoking because this and this, or you need to, or let's try to get you a business or something, you will become his mom. And I did this a few times in my life. It was terrible, never turned out to be good. And then I was like a disappointed mother. Why is he not appreciating me? I never really invested too much in a guy money-wise, but I invested with time and effort. And you know what? Men become super comfortable. If somebody wants to mother them, why wouldn't you become comfortable? They do become very, very comfortable, and that they get upset with me like I am a mother. You see, if I would be, and they start looking around for women that they possibly could date, because now I'm a mother, so I'm not a dateable person. You remember, we socialize energetically and unconsciously. So unconsciously, he looks at me and he's like, okay, a solid mother figure. Now I need to find a woman for myself. Everything is good in my life. So do not build a man. Do not feel bad about this. If a man is a failure, let him be a failure by himself. Or what you can do, you can push him maybe to become more successful. Do not believe in those stories that you need to suffer with the man then for him to appreciate you. Masculinity is self-centered. He will not appreciate you. He might appreciate you as a kind of a good friend, but he will not stay with you because you saw him and he was weak. So date a man who already firmly on their feet. Women love to choose men who are weak because they can control them, they can mold them. But there is two things to remember. It's either a man is super feminine, so he could not do anything on his own, or he's just looking for a mommy figure. That's all. He's not healed from childhood. And you don't want to be neither of those. You will get tired of that. You will be exhausted. So don't build a man. This is completely a no, big no. And if anybody will tell you, well, but this is not right, you need to stay with him through thick and thin. Yeah, you know what? No, don't do that. Don't. I worked in finances. I know a lot of men who were successful, the ones that are staying with their women through thick and thin, only those whose women did not interfere in their life. So those women were developing on their own, and they're on their own. And this is how they basically were developing like this together, came to a particular point. If a woman would be too much invested in him, like for example, the Trump's first wife, Ivana Trump, right? I think her name is. She was that woman. She was so invested in him and his business. She was trying to do everything that at one point he basically started looking around. They had a good family, I wouldn't lie, but this is what happens. If you are too invested in a man and his stuff, at one point he will want to find a woman and not somebody who mothers him. Well, I don't know that relationship too much, but it always looked to me this way. Anyways, the next one that you need to remember, the next point is about man. So because men are so linear and so kind of straight to the point, it's usually very easy to find out how they react on anything, like how they handle any kind of situation. Observe how a man handles when you are refusing him something. See what he does, how he reacts to that. So usually a man, when if a masculine man gets a no, he will be like motivated to do better to get a yes at one point. You see, a man is not getting discouraged, so you need to make sure that he doesn't get discouraged, or he doesn't get like spiteful or maybe distant or something. So something like that. So if he or he's holding the grudge for too long, you need to make sure that the man is motivated with your no, um becoming negative with that no. So this is very important. So this shows his ability to navigate the difficulties in life. So if he is able to navigate, he will not take no for an answer. He will accept it. He will restructure his plan, and he will go and he will start go into that fight again. Now, a man who could not handle no will either become bitter, so start fighting with you, or he will try maybe to get even physical, which is completely wrong. Or maybe he will get like a little distant, start ignoring you, to manipulating, or maybe spiteful, so saying some rudenesses, bringing up certain things that you never brought before, or cold, giving you cold shoulders, so something like that. Observe that. This is how it starts. If you will have a relationship with him, it will only get worse. So if right now a man could not take no, and he manipulates you to kind of for you to change into yes, how are you going to have a family with him, or how are you going to have a relationship with him? That will be only his kind of his way or no way at all. So this is important to remember. Some people, when they're first in love, they don't really pay attention to that, but it is important. I really didn't know too many men like this, at least in my life. I knew couple clients who were like that, and their wives were just a rug that you can walk on, because they were huge manipulators. The men were huge manipulators. They tried to manipulate me. I was their banker, somebody who were managing their finances. But for the most part, these men, they're difficult. They want everything just their way. You see, they don't lead; they manipulate you. So this is important. Now, a man. What else do you need to remember? You also need to remember that. You need to observe. I wish I knew this, how a man treats money. You see, masculinity is usually not as concerned with their security, because they always know that they are fine. They are not afraid to risk. They are not afraid to spend. So they're fine with spending money or giving money to somebody, investing money. It's all good and fun, while you are with him, while you're just dating. But if you have a family, imagine how a man, imagine how to live with the man like this and have a budget. So you observe what he's doing. Like, for example, I love Leos. I just love those men. You know why? Because they're huge show-offs. So they always buy big presents. If they order me flowers, it's always huge bouquets. It's never like a small kind of modest bouquet. It's always something big. It's always something extravagant. If these are presents, it's always something the best, or at least the flashiest. If we're going out, it's always the best restaurant. It's always the best thing on the menu. Well, from whatever I want. So they don't mind to spend. Now the problem with this comes when it's not only you they're spending on. It's not only themselves they're spending on. They're spending on everybody because they need validations. Usually Leos. Aries and Sagittarius are also spenders, but at least they limit themselves. But Leos are like this, and if you know Leos, you will agree with them. They are not afraid to spend money now. But will I be with the Leo for long term? No. Will I have a family with Leo? No, I would not. Why? Because they would live for this validation through all their life, and they will be spending our last dollars to get that validation, to impress somebody, to get that kind of boost of dopamine that comes with the validation. Now, I would maybe consider a man, a Leo man to date if he has like some strong Mars placements or Mercury placements, like for example, maybe Mars in, I'm not sure, Taurus, for example, that's like good with money, or maybe Mars in in Capricorn would be also a good placement. But so somebody who can hold, who will not only run enough validation here and there. So I would probably do that. So, but remember, observe how a man spends money. If he's super generous, if he's just throwing the money around and he doesn't really have that much to throw around, it's good for while you're dating. It probably wouldn't be good when you start living. Like I have Leos, admirers. I mean, they love me. I don't know why Leos love me so much, but it's always like this. They always spend, and then at one point they don't have none, and it's difficult for them, because they do want to spend. So it's like a roller a money roller coaster every single time with them now. But because I don't have any kind of relationship, it doesn't really matter to me. But I only imagine if I would have a relationship and I would be responsible for paying the bills while he's trying to impress somebody or to impress himself, it would be rather difficult. So observe how a man is spending money. Now this is on one side. So you need to kind of see how he treats the money, how he treats the whole energy. Now you can obviously work with that. So men, masculine men especially, they are very, I wouldn't say trainable, but they are good kind of listeners. They understand that they are not very emotional, so they want to hear the clues that would make you happy. So if you will tell a man, listen, I do need some kind of security. Let's open for me my savings account. Let's put the money there every month. So put the money there every month, so I feel secure. And then you can do with the rest of the money whatever you want. You can do that. Just make sure that those money belong only to you, and he has no access to them, and basically he would never ask you for those money. This is the only probably way I would have a solid relationship with the Leo, maybe, or with any masculine man who is a spender like this. It's important, because as I said, it's all fun and games while you're dating, but when you have couple kids and there is no food, I mean, it changes very much. You will start despising your man, and this is no good in any kind of situation. So watch how he treats money, whether he has some kind of savings, whether he has some kind of plan. Remember how we spoke about leadership? A man who could not lead himself will hardly lead the family. So watch how he treats money. If you're just dating a guy, if all you want is just to have a little fun, then let him spend all his money. He will make a gain. I mean, Leos always find money somehow. That's not the problem. The problem is when you will decide to have a family with him. And also don't build the family based on what he is spending trying to impress yourself. Leos often impress people, but after that, once the person is impressed, they are basically done with all this shenanigans, with all this kind of fun and everything. So observe that. Observe. It's what is it called? Love bombing in the the fashionable world is love bombing. It's not love bombings, but Leos, they are like this. They love to impress. But after that, I mean, once you impress, they really don't see a point in impressing. So observe how he treats the money, and observe whether he listens to you. So don't become mommy. Just talk to him and say, look, I don't mind to be with you, but I'm a little nervous about, your money kind of situation. So if we will have like a savings account where you can just put some money for me, and so I will feel good. Now, on the other hand, you also need to observe on the other hand, there are feminine men who are usually very stingy with money. This is also important. Why is it important? Because men who are like this, who are stingy with money, who don't like to spend, usually they're not very secure. And these are usually feminine men. So they're not very secure. Money gives them security. Because there's so much to spend and give money, they usually don't get much of it, because for that reason, because they don't spend, they're holding on to this, they're afraid to let it go, and they could not accept in life that much money. This would be also a hard kind of person to live with. You see, it's one thing that a person is a complete, like a spender, that they just spends like crazy, and another when somebody is almost never spends, or spends and calculates and always tells you, oh, I spend this on you, or or wants you to reciprocate with the same. So he bought your present for $500, and he's like, well, um, you know, I want you to, like, your present is not as expensive. It's no good. You know, these are usually, again, weak feminine men. They love to kind of to make sure that they get the same as they give, and it's just no good, no good. So don't be with a man like this. He is not. Um, you would think that he's careful with money, that he is just thinks about future. No, he's not. That man will probably never have money, or even if he will have, he will be sitting on his piles of money or doing nothing. Again, from my career, I saw it a lot. I saw men who have a lot of money in their savings. They don't even invest just because they're so afraid to spend. Their families living, you know, on rice and nothing, just because they're afraid to spend a couple dollars here and there. So again, observe how a man is with money. It's important. In the beginning, it looks like maybe not, but in the long run, it's important, especially if you are planning to have a relationship with that man. If you are just dating somebody and he's already greedy, you know, if he already doesn't want to spend, I mean, there's no even point of standing, and he will start with these manipulations of, oh, you only need my money, or you only in it for the money. Okay, like, don't even support those conversations. Yes, you are in it for money, you are in it for something, you know, and just don't, you know, if more women um would be focusing on that, observing them, they wouldn't be suffering after and trying to kind of trying to save every dollar just to buy themselves something new. So again, it's important. Don't go for the guy who is a huge spender, because if he's a huge spender, he will be a huge spender on everybody. Unless he has a lot of money, maybe he has such a career, you know, I don't know, maybe he's some kind of celebrity, a blogger or something. Let him. Then he will spend on you, he will spend on others, if that is really where he's standing. But if he's living paycheck to paycheck and he's a huge spender, then probably not. But a man who is not a spender is also a problem, you know, because first of all, he will make you lower your standards. He will make you doubt yourself. He will make you contribute. You know, those men who are like, well, I'm paying so much for rent. Why don't you contribute? This is just terrible. So don't go for this. It's just not. All right. So another thing that I wanted to mention, and this is important. Remember how last time I spoke that the man, that you shouldn't be confusing intention with attention. So this time I wanted to mention that if a man, and I also told you that if a man likes you, he will give you clarity. So whatever that clarity is, even if clarity is not appealable to you, it still will be clarity. So with you also need to understand that if you are somewhat important to a man in some kind of way, a man will respect you. So because he will respect you, he will never put you in the situation that you need to compete for his attention. It is important. Why? Because just like with intention and attention, just because a man gives you attention doesn't mean he wants something. This is the same thing. Just because a man wants you to compete, just because he wants to squeeze some jealousy out of you, doesn't mean that he just basically wants some kind of entertainment, wants some kind of drama in his life, wants to feel important, wants to feel like, oh, look, everybody's fighting for him. He becomes a woman, and women are fighting for him, becomes masculine. So if a man is doing this on purpose, and you know that he's doing it on purpose, then maybe this man is not for you. Maybe you need to mention something like, look, if that girl is interested in you and you keep mentioning her, maybe you should be with her. You know, I'm not going to tolerate that. It's important to cut those little things right where they start. Otherwise, it will be just a game that you will play and you will be always triggered by it. It's important. Men usually do that because they need to get some kind of validation from you, seek validation. So they will push you to admit something, so make you jealous. Remember, we socialize energetically and unconsciously. You become triggered by it. You get all nervous, you know, you send all that energy there. He gets that energy. It's not healthy energy, but still energy, you know, and he feels great for a moment at least. So again, if a man respects you, doesn't mean that he will build a family with you, but if he respects you at least a little bit, he will never do that. To tell you the truth, masculine men who respect themselves, they also will not do that. Just because I don't know a masculine man who would want this kind of game around them. They appreciate women for what they are, not for them fighting for them. So do not do that. And do not stay with the man who does that. Do not. If a man is, sometimes you guys sitting in a cafe and he like looked at a beautiful woman, that's probably just a habit. It's nothing bad in that. I mean, I look at beautiful women sometimes. I look at handsome man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if a man deliberately does it, like for example, you guys are going to sleep and he's like, today my colleague, she was just trying to be so friendly with me, so flirty with me, like he's doing it on purpose. You do that, you see that. Then you need to stop that. It's not that he wants to be sure about your feelings to him. It's about him wanting to get um, some kind of drama, some kind of boost. And if he doesn't know how to get energy out of you in a good way, for example, by your present and you're so happy, you're like sending good vibes, or maybe he can have really good intimate moment with you. So again, you're all happy, sending good energy. He will start with this kind of BS, then you don't need a man like this in your life. You don't really start it where it's like stop it when it starts. It happened to me only a couple times. It was a bad situation, and me, I'm not jealous, I wouldn't say, but I don't like when somebody is kind of taking me for an idiot. So I told the guy at that time, I said, look, if you are thinking about another person, maybe you should be. And it hurt me very much because I didn't want to lose the guy. But I was angry, I was angry, and I was like ready to burn all the bridges. So I told him that, and after that he never mentioned it again. I don't know whether he socialized or not. Another guy, we just went on a couple dates together, and he was always talking about, oh, this girl likes me, or this girl likes me, and this and that. And I was like, look, I don't want to hear it. I'm not telling you about my man, so let's not. So, but with that guy, that was it. I mean, I was already turned off very much. So again, it's important not to be a part of his rooster. These are men who compete for a woman's attention, not women who are competing for man's attention. If a man allows you to feel like you're in a competition, then you are not a priority for him. He is not even respecting you. There is no other words. If he would respect you, he would never put you in this kind of situation. You see. So if you are in this kind of situation right now, you ever was, it's time to go. You're not important enough for this guy, and that's just it. You see. I hope it makes sense. It's not because he just wants to kind of to feel something. It's not. It's just. It just. He really doesn't care that you are hurt like that. You see, and this is important. If you, who knows? Maybe if you will say, okay, then I'm leaving. Maybe a man will restructure himself and will understand that these games are not shouldn't be played with you. It could be, as I said, like with my first guy, the first guy who did this to me, I was really very firm and I was ready to walk out. Really serious. I mean, I could have regretted that after, but at that moment, I was ready to close the door very firm. If you, who knows, and he never mentioned that again. So again, maybe if you would be ready to leave, and if he will feel that and see that, maybe he will change and also will stop this. But again, usually a man who puts you in this kind of competition, they all they want is basically just a little validation. They don't even think about how it hurts you or whether it hurts at all. All right, and from here, I guess the next one is man. So for a man to do something for you, to respect you, to keep you in their life, they need to have they need to, I wouldn't say even respect you, but they need to know that you can live at any kind of moment. So if they need to have this fear, the fear of losing you. So if he knows that you're not going nowhere, he will treat you just as it is. You see, masculinity does not so masculinity values strength, whether you want it or not, but men are strong outside, women should be strong inside. So masculinity values strength in the world around them, in others. They don't like the weakness unless the weakness is really a smart move. So you know that you're showing yourself as weakness, but you know that you're just playing the game. So anyways, but men do not like weaknesses. So if a man is treating you not so good, if he sees that you're not treated right and you're still staying with him and humiliating yourself again and again and again, man will start despising you. He wouldn't even know that he's despising you. He will feel it like that. So if a man is not afraid to lose you, if he knows that you are all his, like a comfortable chair, he will start losing respect little by little. You see, a man needs to know that he has to fight for you all the time. He needs to know that you are not fully his, not fully committed to him. And I always tell you, do not be fully committed, one foot out the door. As I always say, you never committed to anybody. You only committed all the time to yourself. You committed to your kids also until they are of age, so until 18 years old. That's it. After that, again, you committed only to yourself, not to anybody else. And if a man knows this, that you are one foot out the door, that you anytime you can just leave him, you can live for somebody else, or just to stay by yourself. If he knows that, he will be very afraid to lose you. Because he's afraid to lose you, he will always look for clues how to make you even more happy, how to add extra to to your happiness. It's like having a Toyota and Lamborghini. If you know that Toyota is just there, always reliable, nothing really, nothing can happen to it, but you know that you can lose the Lamborghini. You will be extra careful, and the well, maybe not a very good example, but still, like you would put more effort into the car that you're afraid to lose. Maybe Lamborghini can break if you will be going on a bumpy road or something. The same here. So make sure your man knows that he can lose you. Make sure. Do not say things like, "Oh, I will love you forever and ever. Even in the next life, I will be with you." Don't be like desperate. Or I wouldn't be able to live without you, or I wouldn't be able to survive if something happens to you. Do not say these words. Do not put the wrong impression in him. You can tell him something. Look, I will feel sad, but if we are not together, I will move on. Lucky for me, I'm a beautiful woman, so I wouldn't have difficult to find somebody else. Show him the strengths. You see, it doesn't show him that you are not faithful. It shows that you have options and you are not afraid to stay by yourself. The more you're afraid to be by yourself, the more man will feel it, and the more he will disrespect you. It's like he will be pushing you to finally find that respect, to finally find that strength in you. You see, and that happened to me many, many times. You see, not I didn't speak about it to men very often. It's not like I was always telling you, "My God, how I will live without you." No, I'm not usually like this. But they felt it because I knew that I was afraid to lose them, and they knew that I was so attached that just the thinking that a man will not be in my life was already would put me in this kind of frozen panic. I wouldn't be able to even move to function because I was that my vibrations would be that low. I would be like afraid to move just from the thought. You see, from the thought alone. And man would treat me not so good because at that moment they were pushing me to find that strength. I mean, okay, so he's not going to be in my life. What is going to happen? Nothing. Okay, so I will cry for a couple months and then I will move on. It's not like it's never happened. It happened already a few times before, so it will be fine. I will be fine. There is only one constant in my life, and that's me. This, and even me is changing all the time. So how can I expect the constant from a man who is absolutely different entity and different energetic being? So you need to understand it and not be attached. Man, you remember, man is a representation of your inner masculinity. If a man sees that you are weak, a man will push you to become stronger, to find that strength inside of you. You see, and I'm happy. Well, at that time I was not happy, but I'm happy that man showed it to me, and I had to kind of to take myself and put myself together again and find the strength in me. Realize that they do not define how my life is going to be, but whether I'm with him or not with him, my life will still be mine. Yes, it could be different if I'm with him, but it still will be good, with him or without him, it still will be good. Masculinity appreciates that so much. And as I mentioned last time, masculine women are often in the relationship because they're like this, they go into the relationship being fully self-centered. They stay with the man only for the time being. They don't have huge expectations, they don't mommy them, they're not empathetic, so they basically live like two good friends. And if something goes down the hill, she's just packing her bags and out. She's not attached. And like I even had this conversation with one of my clients, because so many masculine women are in the relationship, and so many feminine women are struggling to find a man because of this, because they don't know how to disassociate themselves, how to be in the relationship, how to focus on themselves without dissolving yourself in others, and especially in men. And this is super important, especially for our generation of millennials, because we don't see the borders. Once you get attached, and then that's it, and you are basically just you dissolve to be you, and this is always wrong. A man will always push you to find yourself, to find that strength and sense in you, to get back into your aura. Remember, a man has his aura, you have your aura. You guys connecting only on 20, whatever, how I was showing this before, only on 25%. If you connect on more than 25, if you're trying to connect on 75%, he will push you because you're invading his aura now. This is not good. It's good maybe for a honeymoon, while you're on a honeymoon kind of honeymoon stage, you maybe a couple months while you're dating and getting to, but for the most part, everybody has to have their life. And you need to make sure that your life is present and is existent. So to say. So anyways, I hope it makes sense. If you would have questions on this particular part, you can ask me. You will think that if you get attached to a man should appreciate and get attached to you. That doesn't work like this. That doesn't. Remember, you come into this world to develop. He comes to this world to develop. You help each other to develop. You help him to develop femininity a little bit. You help him to develop his masculinity. He helps you to develop your femininity. It's amazing. But besides those two, you still have other roles, and you need to make sure that you develop in the other roles as well. You could not be just hanging in one role just because it feels so good to be with the man, fun to be in his company. So a man will push you, and will hurt you, because you need to remember that you are your own entity, that you have your own aura. Stay within your aura. Don't try to sneak into his aura because you feel like it would be much better there. The grass is never greener on the other side. I will tell you that. Stay in your aura, and then he will want you. He will want to be with you. So, but this is important. A man will never truly respect you, never truly admire you, never truly will want to be with you if he knows that he will never lose you. If he knows that you are there forever and ever, he will treat you accordingly, and that treatment will not be good. Masculine men are bad, could be very rude, could be very obnoxious. They are not empathetic. They will speak to you just like they feel, and that conversation will not be good. Now, if they have manners, I mean, they might be softer, but for the most part, like for example, we had these neighbors a long time ago when I was very, very little. So they were not like neighbors, like couple houses, but I still knew, and everybody knew about their relationship. So their relationship were very, very kind of strange. So a woman was very attached to him, didn't want to. So they were elderly couple already, like maybe in their 50s or 60s. So something, it's not like they were young kids. So they had grown-up kids already, and the woman was just too codependent on him, too codependent. And the man, like, he was social butterfly. He liked to socialize, he liked to go visit neighbors here and there, and the woman was always kind of on his back. So she was very much dependent on him. She was very attached to him. And you know what? And he was always somewhat rude to him. In that time, the divorces were not kind of. Plus, it was in a village, so it was not like they could get divorced. It was not in the cards, and it probably would never happen. But he treated her the way he would treat somebody who the way somebody would treat something that is very common. He could be rude with her, he could snap at her, he could even sometimes push her. I mean, I know there was no violence, but sometimes it was like this. And it was never a good scene. She was unhappy, he was unhappy, they were just suffering together, just because of some kind of obligations before the society. And so make sure your man knows that you are ready to live. Make sure that your man knows that you are not staying there forever and ever. Make sure that your man knows that if you're not treated accordingly, you're not afraid to live. So um, he will, um, he will remember this. I even put over here: boundaries create value. Yeah. So if he knows that you can live, if he knows that you're strong enough to stand for yourself, he will be very, very careful of how he talks to you. Notice how with strangers we're always very careful in our conversation because we don't know what to expect from them. But with people who we are close to, we sometimes can be a little too much. And I know it from myself. I always try to talk to anybody as they would be a god or a goddess. But I know that people who are closer to me, I can make some remarks that maybe that I would not dare to say to a stranger, an absolute stranger, because again, from a stranger, I don't know the reaction, but people who love me, I know that they will be okay. Maybe they wouldn't like it, but they would be okay with that. So again, do not, keep those boundaries. Even with somebody who you're intimate with, you still need to have healthy boundaries. It's only good for you. It's only good for your relationship. Why not to do that? Okay, so what else? Oh, this one is very, very important. So if a man, that happened to me only one time in my life. So, and I wanted to mention this. If a man does not want to introduce you to his friends, to his family, okay, let's not take family, but his friends, if he never wants to be seen with you, if he never wants to put you on social media, he puts everybody, all his friends, acquaintances, but never you, then you are temporarily in his life. That means that he's looking for something better, and you just warming his bed while he's looking for that somebody. Remember this. This is very important. It never lies. Never. Masculinity always wants to have what is the best. If they believe that they got what is the best, that somebody best, they want to show it off to everybody and to everything. Maybe not to the parents. Let's hold on the parents kind of, but friends, acquaintances, they want to be seen in public with you. If a guy does not want to do that, if he's like, oh no, but let's just be me and you, then you are not his choice. You're his choice only for right now while he's looking for the better choice. Remember this. This is very, very important. It happened to me only once, only one time. Until now, I don't know. I think the guy was married. But we were not that close. We went on a few dates, and the dates were always somewhere out of the way, like in places where I would never go, like somewhere far, far away from where we lived. And he would always he would text me, oh, me and my friends are doing this, and I'm like, can I come? And he's like, no, you wouldn't like it. So we were always avoiding people. So me, again, I'm not I could not, I can feel something is off. So I went on a few dates with him, and I basically told him, that's it. He could never understand. Till now, I think that he was either married or maybe engaged or something, because I'm very beautiful, so I'm not sure why would he be shy. But again, I think maybe he had somebody else in his life, somebody maybe from whatever. But I noticed that. I seen that before, and usually this is how it is. If a man does not if he does not claim you, if he doesn't want to claim you in front of everybody, if he doesn't want to show you off, then he's, I wouldn't say ashamed, but embarrassed of you, embarrassed of his own choice. And because he is not, he's probably looking for somebody else. You won't be there for a long time. If you think he will get used to, and then he will start introducing you to everybody, don't believe in that. That's not how it works. And if he will, oh, but I don't want to, I want to make sure that there is only you and me, nah. Mm-mm. No. I had a friend. I still have her, right? And she was always a little chubby. And she always struggled with her weight. She's beautiful, but a little, just a little bit. And so she had this boyfriend, and that boyfriend always was on her back about her weight. So they go out, and he was not mean, but he would always mention something, and she would always complain about it and whatever. But anyways, he would not introduce her to almost anybody. And I told her, maybe it's because of your weight. You see, they broke up. Eventually, they broke up, and he started dating somebody who was his type, somebody who was skinny and who was very presentable and everything. She was very upset. My friend was upset, and she was blaming herself. But you see, from the start, it was obvious that the guy is not really claiming her. He is not really that proud of her. To be even with her. So what was the point of even continue dating him? Again, keep that in mind. If a man is not showing you off, if he does not want to introduce you to at least his friends, then you remember, like in Sex and the City, Big and Carrie, Big always try to hide Carrie. Even he didn't want to have a big wedding with her because of that, because he didn't want people almost to see him associated with her. Very strange. But this is how it is. And I mean, unless you are Carrie and going to wait for 10 years for him to finally, to marry you out of sense of obligation, then don't even start that. This is important. All right. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that men in itself are not really faithful. It's bad, but so it's not like this. Man could be very faithful if their life is very busy, and they know that they can lose you. So, for example, if a man is masculine and he's constantly doing this and he's in this project and that, he's like busy. He has no time really to. He's spending time with kids. He's doing this. He's trying to better off your life somehow. Then he will be faithful. But for the most part, man, so they're faithful because they don't want to betray their own choice, and you are their own choice. But for them to not to be faithful is not a big deal, kind of, you see. So you need to remember this, and don't make I wouldn't say don't make a big deal out of it, but don't place your happiness in that person, in any kind of person. Remember that you are partners only for a particular period of time. Do not sit and wait that he will cheat on you. He probably won't. I mean, if it's a man who is busy, who has a life, he probably will never cheat on you. But remember that, like I told you last time, a man is only you're in a man's life only while you're serving your purpose. This is the same thing, If he will decide that he wants somebody else, he will get that somebody else, you see, and you won't be able to do nothing about it. You can have all this hysterics and this and ultimatums, but if a man wants something, a man will get something. Remember this. Don't make a big deal out of it. It's life. Again, be always don't be on your guard, because that will make your life crazy. But listen to yourself, feel yourself, and if there is some kind of situation like this, you know that you will be fine, that you will live, and that's where it will end. Now, if you will feel like this, if you will feel that you can live at any moment, and you wouldn't like even regret that, a man will feel that, and he will think twice before cheating on you. So again, it's all about inner strengths. Masculinity overall is very careful about who they wrong and who they don't wrong. Even among men themselves, right? They very much respect the stronger man. So because they respect the stronger man, they also try to act differently. So if you will show that inner strength, he will treat you differently. He will respect you more, and he will think twice before doing something that might hurt you. You see, so remember, the inner strength is really, really important. And since we socialize energetically, they will feel it. You don't even need to speak about that, A man will feel it. Now, all your hysterics and everything and kind of that drama, that's weakness, It's just you could not, one thing that you could not control yourself. Another thing is that because you don't see the strength inside of you, trying to control the outcome, you're trying to control the outside, and he sees that, he feels that, And so he might, out of, if he has some feminine energy, I mean, he might, out of empathy, to reassure you that there is nobody, that he loves only you, but it's a very kind of slippery road. Very fast it might turn into something else. So remember that, and just you know and just live with that. I mean, I was, men did cheated on me, but I never sit and wait for it. I mean, if it happens, it happens. What I'm going to do, I will act on that. But to sit and wait for it, and just, it's not really where you want to be. All right, what else do I want to mention? Make sure that, so when you start dating a man, make sure, I always speak about this, but just to repeat, make sure a man does not make you feel guilty for the life you live right now. So let's imagine you make good money, and so you spend on yourself, you buy yourself things, you treat yourself to things, you travel, you here, you there. Make sure a man does not really voice something like, "Oh, why would you spend so much on on a trip to Italy? You could have done it cheaper. You could have not even go, like, you could have put this money aside to buy a house." Crazy. It's one thing that a man does not help you with your kind of expenses. Another thing, when he starts counting your money, this is very bad. If it starts while you are dating, while you only getting to know him, know that he will become one of those manipulators who don't make enough, and who is trying to control you with some kind of emotional games, just because they could not control you with them, with their money. Just they could not lead with money. So cut those loose very fast. In my life, when I was making really good money and I was really solid with money, I was obviously treating myself. I like to travel, so I was traveling here and there. I was one day on a cruise, 2 months after I would travel to another country. So I was dating, and I will tell you, masculine men never really reproached me on my spending. I mean, yes, maybe they couldn't go with me for some reasons, because of work or something else, but they never really told me, "Oh, you shouldn't be spending," or nothing. Like, there was no conversation at all. Like, he would say something, "Oh, like, I don't want you to go, like, what I'm going to do here for the whole month without you," or something. So they do show their displeasure, but it was never about money. Now, feminine man would always be like, "Oh, how much does it cost? Are you going to spend that much? You know, I wish I had money, I would go with you," like this, always putting this kind of weird guilt on you. So again, watch, observe yourself. In the beginning, it all seems like fun, because the man just mentions something, and you're so much, like, enamored by him. You liking him, so you don't pay attention to this. Pay attention to that. That's important. A man who puts your standards down in the beginning will only continue doing that. Then he will lower your standards to the bottom, and then he will leave you, because he got you when you had high standards. And he wants a woman with high standards, so he can count all the money in the world that you have, but he still wants somebody with high standards. Maybe he didn't know that high standards come with are that expensive, but still. So that's crucial. Do not allow that to anybody. I speak about this, I think, every single week, but yeah, if a man could not afford, if he could not step up and help you with all your adventures, with all your expenses, at least let him keep it quiet. but no. All right, another thing that I wanted to mention, and this is I think this is the last one, and this is very important when you want to build a family, when you want to have a real solid relationship with somebody, is that a man who is just loyal is really nothing. Loyalty without some kind of direction is useless. So let's imagine you date a guy and he's like all loyal to you, he's available, he's this and that, but he could not really lead. He doesn't make decisions. He basically allows you to decide everything on everything. You want to go out, okay? You decide where you guys are going. You decide what are you doing after dinner. You decide when you start being intimate. So when you are deciding on everything, and he never makes any kind of moves to become a leader, maybe this man is not for you in the long run. as I told you, and you will say, well, some men are like this. Well, yeah, some men are like this. And why are you the one who needs to start with teaching him how to lead a woman in the relationship? Why? If he didn't learn it already, why is it you who's supposed to start doing this? So I wouldn't really be with the man like this. It's very exhausting. Even in the beginning, it's very exhausting. It's like, um you talk to the guy, you talk, and then at one point you get tired of it, and so you're like, well, are we going to meet? And he's like, oh, if you want. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, what do you want to do? Well, let's have a dinner. Okay, where do you want to go? And it's like, I mean, make some kind of a decision. I mean, for something, you offer me something. I don't know. For me, it's very exhausting. I'm feminine. I could not be masculine. Even I'm masculine throughout the day. On my consultations, on doing whatever I'm doing, I'm masculine enough. When I'm in the relationship, I want to be feminine. I appreciate that you're asking for my input, but please do make some kind of decision, some kind of offers. So I wouldn't be with the man just because he's loyal to me and he's attached to me, and he's just like a dog. I wouldn't be. Yes, loyalty is a beautiful kind of quality, but it does not substitute leadership again. You see, it's important to understand. Please remember this. Especially I know women who burnt in the relationship before. They love this kind of man. They love this man because they're like, anything. You want to do anything, especially if they have a little money. You want to do this, okay? You want to do this, okay? You want to move in together, okay? You want to have a kid, okay? And then at one point you're like, who am I living with? I'm living with the person, the spineless person, the person who is just basically along for the ride, who is just agrees to everything. He doesn't have their own opinion, nothing. Yes, he's loyal, but he's not a man. It's like there's no strengths, particular strengths. And you will say, well, some men could be strong and still could be just following a woman. No, they must have something. They must have some kind of. I would rather have a man who's strong enough um, to hold his ground and to not to fight, but to kind of to do what he wants to do, than to have a man who would just blindly follow me everywhere. I don't need a man like this. I would not admire him enough. I wouldn't admire him at all. I wouldn't even want to have friends like this. Friends who are just like who have no life and just always ready, always kind of with me, living my life. It's strange. I wouldn't like. I love people who are individuals, um, who are to have something going on, even if it's something completely opposite to mine. I mean, at least they do. At least it's interesting to talk to them. There's something that's happening, and the same with men. So again, if if you want to have a relationship, you started dating the guy, and the guy is just like loyal, always available. This is not the man to build a relationship with. You will get tired before you even marry him. And even the marriage, you would be organizing everything. Everything, and probably you will be paying. At one point you will just be not even making money. That's at least good if the guy has money, some kind of money. Then okay, maybe you can stay with him. But if he doesn't even have money and he just offers just his absolute devotion to you, I mean, what is he, a woman? Do not start relationship with a man like this. If a man doesn't have a life, doesn't have friends, doesn't have hobbies, doesn't have ambitions, doesn't have plans, or some kind of desires for life, then don't be with him. Like I met this guy, and he was very much, his whole year was pre-planned. He goes scuba diving to Egypt in 2 months, and then he goes there and he goes here. So he's like having vacations all over. And I understand that I am not in his plans, and he's not going to adjust his plans for me. I understand that, but it doesn't hurt me because the person is living a life. He is his own person, and this is important for me. See, this is much more important for me than for him to be available and just stuck to my hip. So remember this. All right, on this note, I think so that's it. I hope I made it clear. Please do re-listen to this video and the video before from last Sunday. As I said a few years ago, well, not a few, but like 15 years ago, I would argue with a lot of this, probably with everything. I would really argue, because I don't know. I grew up to believe in certain things. My father was not like this. I don't know why I grew up to believe in. I guess I was reading a lot of those when I was a teenager. I was reading a lot of those romances, those little books. And in those books, they're always written by women. So in there, men always they always guess what you like. They always are so predictable. They always loyal. They just so in love. It's so unrealistic. And I read a lot of them, maybe 300 or so. Like I would read one book in 1-2 days. So I read a lot of them, and I guess that's what messed up with my head very much, because my parents were exactly as I'm telling you. My father was focused on his wishes. My mom was also having her life. So they lived kind of maybe because they both were somewhat masculine, they lived good together. Nobody was dissolving in each other. They had projects together, kids, whatever else they were doing together. But those books, they really messed up with my head. So I by the time I started dating, I had this idea of this kind of Prince Charming that would come sweeping off my feet, solve all my problems, listen to my whining, be absolutely loyal, will love me just because I exist. Even I didn't love myself just because I exist. And he would be rich, and he would be just so handsome, and on all of that. But again, this is absolutely unrealistic. Nobody can heal your traumas. That doesn't work like this. Accept the truth, realize that it's not that bad, and just move on from that. All right, you can ask questions if you have, and let me sum it up really fast. So to start with, remember that masculinity is selfish, and from here we're going to continue our list. So the first one: do not become a mother to any kind of man. Do not believe that if you will make a man, he will appreciate you and stay with you. He will appreciate and stay with you only. Like I have a friend. We're friends since kindergarten, just so you know. We don't socialize much, but we do here and there. And so she got married to a man who's much younger than her, like 10 years or so. And unknowingly, she became a mother to him. Now the guy grew up and they start having issues. And I always tell her, you need to stop being a mother to him. You need to start being a woman before he will find a woman. I tell her this every single time. And you know what? I believe he's staying with her only because of sense of obligation. So because of his parents, they're really kind of influencing him. Because of the kids they have, this is the only thing that will hold him. I don't know for how long. I hope she will just change. I hope she will change and they will be happy forever and ever. This is what my hope is for them. I tell her this all the time. But I want to show you. You see, she was with him while he was still in university. She was with him while he was building the career. Now he's strong. Now he has the money. He has everything. He doesn't need a mommy in his life no more. He wants to live. He wants to live with the woman, not with the second mother. I mean, he already has one mother that influences him. So remember, don't become a mother. A man will not appreciate you. He will grow up, and he will move on with his life. So man, make sure, observe how a man handles rejections. When you say no, what does he do? Ideally, a man should be like, okay, and inside you see he's plotting something. He's wants to kind of to take another strategy to get to the yes. If a man becomes mean, angry, manipulative, distant, cold, kind of vengeful, then this is a bad start. You're still dating and if he could not take no for an answer, that's bad. So do observe that. Observe also how a man treats money. If he's a huge spender, I mean, unless you're just there for a short period of time, let him spend. I mean, or unless he has really large income. So if he's, I don't know how much bloggers make, but if he's like a blogger and he makes a lot of money, or he's maybe an artist or something, so somebody who is really, or he has a sports career, so something that really brings him a lot of income, then yes, maybe he can be a spender to everybody. But if you are building a life with him, put some money on the side for yourself. Talk to him that security is important for you. This is important. Now, also do not be with the man long term, with the man who is not generous, who is stingy and always counts how much he spent on you. How many grains did you eat? How a man who is like, oh, I bought you this present for $500 and you gave me something cheaper. This is not a man for you. Starts like this, it will be a disaster in the future. A disaster. I used to work with a woman like this. She had this stingy husband of hers, and she knew. I mean, she knew it. So she had to borrow money against her 401 to take her kids on a summer vacation. You see, he never even contributed to. And I always was wondering, like, why are you living with him? And she's like, well, for the kids, you know, you see, a woman will always do it out of duty something. Again, but she knew this, and she's like, well, when we started dating, I mean, he never was really generous, so I really, you know, I knew what I was getting into. Again, it worked for her, fine. But you know what? The kids will go to college. Is he going to pay for them? The kids will need some expensive medical treatment. Will he pay for that? Like, you need to understand this, that those men who are afraid to give the money, they usually are not. They will not give the money. You know, like, who was that billionaire whose grandchild was kidnapped and he refused to pay the money? You probably heard about this. They even cut the grandchild's ear just to show that they were serious. I mean, they returned the grandchild, but you see, he was not a spender, and he didn't want to spend. He said, I have a lot of grandkids. So I understand he went on principle, but still the point is that the person who doesn't spend will not suddenly become a spender. That's it. With time, with years, when the energy will become smaller in his aura, he will be even more stingy. And okay, so this is also remember that men are not faithful. Just accept it. If he is busy, if he is occupied with you, that's why it's so important to keep a man on his toes. You know, if he's busy, he will have no time to cheat. But if he will decide on cheating, only fear of losing you might stop him. And from here, if a man is not afraid to lose you, he will not respect you. A man needs to know that he needs to work for everything that he has in life. It would be much better. You could not allow a man to be lazy, to be too relaxed like this. So, and for that, you need to make sure that he knows that you are ready to leave anytime, that you will not be, that nothing will happen to you, that you can survive, that you can provide for yourself. You know, prenups are a really good thing in those moments. That's why I always advise everybody to have a prenup. And you will see a man will treat you so much better if he knows that he can lose you at any moment. Now, make sure that the man does not make you feel guilty for having standards, especially if he could not really contribute to them in the beginning of your relationship. If you just started dating and he already mentions how much money you spend, this guy needs to go. You do not negotiate, do not discuss, do not talk to him, oh, well, but I'm making my money. Do not. This guy is already a problem. He's starting with the problem, you know. It will only get worse. He will, little by little, will be putting seeds in your head. He will lower your standards, and then he will leave you because he wants somebody with high standards. He could not tolerate that somebody has high standards, that there is money that living the house without him knowing that, you know. All right. One more thing that you need to remember, that if a man values you, if he at least respects you somehow, he will never push you in competition. If he doesn't mind you to compete for his attentions, that means that he doesn't really care for you. He just wants a little entertainment. And usually he will get, because if you are getting triggered, if you allow this, he will do it again and again and again just to get that validation. Remember that if a man is not proud to claim you, if he doesn't want to show you off, if he doesn't want to introduce you to others, then he is just he's looking for to replace you. Sorry to say this, but it always works like this. Always. I never saw a man who'll be like super private. Okay, you can be private and not put you on Instagram, but at least introduce to friends, introduce to the family. If he doesn't even do that, like I knew this girl I used to work with. The guy lived with the roommate, so they had this huge penthouse somewhere in Manhattan. So he had a roommate, which was fine. I mean, they had a huge place and everything. So he would only invite her when the roommate was not there. And then one time the roommate came while she was there. I mean, this is two guys, so it's not like the roommate can get jealous or something. And he made her sit in the room while he was in the living room with the roommate, just so the roommate will not see her. And you would think that, well, maybe he would be jealous if the roommate would think that she's so beautiful. No, not really. He just didn't really care for her. In 2 months, he was done, and he was dating another girl, and he was posting pictures with that girl all over social media. So this is how it is. So if this is your case, I mean, know that you just need to move on. Nothing will change. Nothing will change. I mean, with parents, yeah, maybe some people take time to introduce to parents. Okay. But friends, acquaintances, roommates, I mean, if he's at least somewhat liking you, he shouldn't really care for that. He should introduce you to those people. Then done. Okay, standards. Yes, I said that. And the last one is just because a man is loyal doesn't mean that he's a good person to build a family with. He's loyal simply because he has no other options, and he feels very secure with you. He feels very good being kind of this loyal pet to you. He likes your leadership. But again, he's not ready to lead, and he will not be ready to lead ever. If you start the relationship leading, this is how it will be always. You will lead. You can give suggestions, but do not lead a man. You will lead him, he will get used to it, he get comfortable. Remember, men who love to be led, they are accustomed to that. That's what they're looking for, you see. Why do you think that one day he'll wake up and he's like, that's it, now I'm leading this family? Why? Out of nowhere, he is used to that. That's his pattern. It's impossible. It would be easier to leave him and get another man than to get this man to lead. So just because he's super convenient, super available, loyal, always there, writing to you every good morning, good night, doesn't go out with nobody, doesn't go out with his friends, doesn't have friends, doesn't look at other women. He's just afraid to lose his leader, his mommy. Do you want this man? Probably not. Not for the family, I don't know. You can entertain yourself until you get bored with him, but not for the family, because there needs to be a man to lead the family. At one point, you will not be able to lead. When you're pregnant, when you have a little kid, you would need somebody who make decisions, who can stand up for the family. It would be very hard to make that man to do that. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, do ask. Send them to me. I hope I made it clear. I hope everybody in 2026 will have a beautiful relationship. At least I wish it on all of you, on myself too. I mean, hopefully I'll be ready to commit to somebody. But remember this, that's one thing that you need to be ready to commit. Another thing is that you need to accept men as they are, Look, accept the truth, accept the reality. Once you accept the reality, it will be much easier for you to navigate it, to kind of not even navigate, to it would be much easier for you to build the relationship, you see, without any kind of false expectations that were somewhere in the books, or maybe in some kind of fairy tale movies, Hallmark movies. You will see how much faster and better you will build the relationship with the man that you like. The only thing I always tell you, choose the man that you like. Do not go for a man who is convenient. Do not go for a man who you think might be good, because that will always cause problems. So if you go for a man who you like really genuine, there is like this you're drawn to him. There is this excitement. You see him and your knees are shaking. Go for that guy. Now go for him, but remember all the above that I told you. If you will keep the right boundaries, you will have amazing relationship with him. If I would do one change in my life, I would cut out every single guy that was not like that. This is what I would do, because those relationships brought me nothing but headache and waste of time. Now on the other hand, the relationship where I was really like at all times, if only I could have hold the strengths in me and boundaries, they would have been amazing. But even when they were not so amazing, they still helped me to develop so much faster. They moved me, they propelled me up in my not only in my development as a woman, but also overall. I had so much energy that I wanted to do things. I got promotions, I got more money, I get this. I was ready to take on the world because I had so much energy. So go for a man that you like. All of them will have those issues, but at least go for the one that you like, and then build a relationship with him. I'm telling you, if I knew all this before, all my significant relationship would be perfect. If only I knew all that before. If only I knew, I had somebody like me who would have told me. But again, I was not ready to hear that. I would have argued and argued till I would be drooling from arguing. So yeah, that's what it is. All right, that's it. Thank you, TikTok, for being here. Thank you for supporting me. I'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye, TikTok. And by YouTube, observe yourself this week, the week that is coming. It's interesting because Mars, the planet of actions, is connecting, is in conjunct with Pluto, the planet of big changes. They're both my rulers, and they're connecting. So, but if these are not your rulers, I mean, just hold yourself. Do not react. Do not do nothing harsh, and be patient with men, because men, they could be very a little aggressive this next week. But overall, the good week. So, anyways, that's it. I will see you next Sunday. If you have questions, ask. If you disagree with something, let me know. I'm curious, really. I love your questions. No question is a silly question. I mean, I understand. As I said, I would argue all of them. There is a reason for everything that I said. It's not really bad. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just how it is. Accept it and move on. That's it. And just live with that. All right, that's it. Enjoy your Sunday, and I will see you next Sunday at 11. Bye, everybody.